welcome to Redeeming Thunder. My name is Erica, and I'm here to give you a prophetic vision of still in the category of Sa, which means being delivered from our enemies. And so this word was given to me on 12/28 initially, 2023. And it went on to the next day, the 29th. So as I was laying my head down to go to bed on the 28th, I heard Yahuwah state, there are hidden diamonds. I can show you where the diamonds are at. And there is hidden treasure. I can show you where the treasure is at. In the secret place. And so I was very tired. And so that was extremely, of course, captivating to be able to interpret what Yahuwah is considering diamonds. What he's considering diamond. It sounds like treasure, like a wealth transfer. And I was very tired at the same time, so I laid down and prayed. And as I'm praying, I hear the Holy Spirit stating, Sa, 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 like 30 times. And then Sha, Sha, which means, the first one means to be delivered from your enemies. He is here now. The second one means Shah, which was said about 25-30 times as well in a row, consecutively, right after the other word, was in urgency, and that word means in this hour. And so I knew in that moment that judgment was here. It was already initiating, like in the matter of the moment. In this hour means right now, not 2 weeks later, not a month later, not, because sometimes we get prophetic word where you could get it and it could happen 20 years later. It could happen like birthing pains. It could happen literally 9 months later, like giving birth to a baby, but instead of a baby, it's actually it's a purpose. Yahuwah has a plan. It could literally be a baby, but it also could be a ministry, a business venture that you're supposed to work on, some supernatural gifts that he's downloading and equipping you and training you, and it's something of that sort. But in this instance, it was not even talking about a month later, or sometimes these prophetic words, they come to evolve 3 months later. Sometimes they come to evolve days later. Sometimes they come to occur in the earth. So on earth as it is in heaven, that means it already established on the heavens, and now it's going to establish on the earth. This meant right now when he says Shah. So it was very disheartening in that moment to know that the wicked ones that he considers not of his flock, the ones that were tormenting you, me, with their wicked ways, with their witchcraft, with their slander and gossip, etc., with their hidden secrets that were sinful, they are now going to be exposed, and they're going to be having a very tumultuous life going forth. At the same time, it is good news, because that means Yahuwah is on it, and he is allowing for rescue to come, and he is allowing the enemy to endure their own wrath that they have placed on themselves, and now that he is placing. Okay, so Yahuwah knows you more than you know yourself. And so in that respect, he already knew that I was carrying some kind of burden on my shoulders that was out of my control, out of my hands reach to assist. He knows that if I had the power, I would have done it already. I wanted to help rescue originally, but he knows it's not the right time. Okay? But he wanted to show something. So he began to say Sapa. It starts with a T. S-A-P-A-H. And in the Hebrew language, it doesn't matter where all these little accent marks are placed. But this one means to be watchful, be the watchman in this hour. And the watchman means to alert the people, but also to be watchful of be in prayer. Be watchful of something that Yahuwah wants to show you. It might be in a dream, it might be in real life, it might be in a vision. So I knew that I had to be alert and be in that moment, be ready to have something of revelation given to me. And I had my eyes open in that moment as I was praying. But I decided to close them because I felt that maybe it's going to be a closed vision. And in that moment, instantly, as I closed my eyes and while I'm praying and staying still, and sometimes when you stay still, you're not praying, you're just quiet. I began to see something, and I saw a cluster of diamonds and sapphires, many clusters, and the background of it was black. And so these clusters were glowing, glittering, right? So they were contrast to the dark background. And so then in real life, I was looking up some rings. I wanted my husband to buy me a new ring, and so the day before I was looking it up, and so I asked, is this because of the ring? And he's like, no, keep looking. So he says keep looking. He's like, looking into the spirit, go into the spirit realm and look deeper, because the vision is creating and evolving itself, unraveling in that moment, okay, to show in this hour what's going on. And so it started evolving furthermore, that I could see the clusters of diamonds and sapphires, gems, like pretty good sized ones. And so it was like a dark night, like the night of the sky was like onto what I now finally saw was they were on water. They were floating on water. And so then I was like, okay, I can see that. And then I realized they were floating on water because they were laying on lily pads. So everything is like a dark night, and they're laying on, everything looks dark because it's nighttime, and they're on lily pads, and they're still glittering, they're still glowing, but everything else is dark. And I realized that in that moment, it dawned on me that the gems the jewelry is like it's like it's symbolic of wealth. Okay, it's symbolic of royalty, right? Just looking at that. And then I suddenly saw to the side a patch of land, of sand, and a treasure chest. And the treasure chest opened, and there was gold, many gold jewelry and coins. Okay? And these sapphires and diamonds were sitting on top of the gold. And I also saw rubies. So immediately I realized in that moment that it has to do with the wealth transfer. And it has to do, there's a specific verse that I'll put in the description that states that the riches and the wealth is laid of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And the reason why I knew is because recalling the water was dark. So they were sitting on top of the darkness. Okay? And on lily pads, somebody was holding them up and sustaining them. And they were just amongst darkness. Extreme. It just went on. The water went on forever, it seemed like. And so I realized is that the wealth of the wicked is held up for the righteous. It has something to do with that. And I'm like, please, other than the wealth transfer, what else does this mean? Please help me understand. And I realized in that moment, that's when I felt the burden. And so as I was getting burdened by this vision as well, and feeling overwhelmed by the burdens that were going on, that I was worried about, that I guess it was in subconscious or something, because I was not really speaking about that burden out loud. I mean, I did, but not every day and not every second and not every hour. Okay? It was something that was in my heart that was making me feel sad, scared, and worried for that situation. And so I wanted to feel like I want to understand, and if I symbolically lift up my hands and release the burden, like pulling it out of my heart, literally, physically, I did that. And I just lifted up my hands. I said, please take this. And it wasn't even about, I want the treasure now. Like, I want the diamonds, I want the sapphires. It wasn't even about that. It was about, I want to understand this esteemed vision. I want to understand what it means. And so I felt like there was just something, the stumbling block that wasn't allowing me to understand what it meant, because I was so much feeling burdened by it, and I didn't realize it all was tying together. Okay, so as soon as I did that, I had a vision of the extra tribe. Some of us are called to be mother and father of the nations, and so there's an extra tribe that Yahuwah has been giving people to take on as a mother or father figure for them. Okay, and that was exactly who I was feeling burdened for, of their need of rescue. And I was like, what does this mean? You know, like, please help me. And I realized that going forward, it would be very helpful to physically to manifest this, the weight off your shoulders, to physically, if you need to, if you even have to, literally grab it from your heart and lift it up to Yahuwah, and it will give you more ability to live in the moment and release your burdens to Him, because that's exactly what He would want. He wants to solve your problems. He doesn't want you to solve the problems. Okay, so, and it is very hard sometimes to wait for Yahuwah's timing. You want everything to be at your timing. You want it to be now. But there is steps that need to be put in place in order for it to be His perfect manner of rescue. And so you need to pray for it to be His will, not yours. And so there's certain treasures that are not always going to be of gold. The wealth transferred to you that I realized is not always going to be made out of dollars, out of cash, out of you know, stock, inheritance, in that sense of that way. It's gonna be sometimes real estate. It's gonna be sometimes land. It's gonna be sometimes people that you're supposed to take care of. And the other thing I realize is that deeper in prayer, I continue, when I had my hands up and I felt like I was carrying the extra tribe in my hands, and I was giving it to Him to take care of. And when I did that, I started crying very hard, because I love them very much. But it's hard when you don't really have access to people that you love. It's withheld. And so I wanted them to know how much I love them. And I was wanting that grace and protection to be surrounding them and not to be in suffering. So as I was crying with much heart, I remember repeating Yah, Yah, over and over, like 30 times, which is a short version of the name Yahuwah. And then after that, I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Oh, Roe, Shah." And Ro means exclamation. Roe means a root word for a prophet and or a prophetess, but a specific one. They're called certain categories. There's different categories of being a somebody that will be a prophet or a prophetess. And the specific one for being a seer, which looking into the definition of Roe, is one who receives visions and dreams to interpret and to give revelation of what Yahuwah, the Most High, wants to tell His people, the messages. So a messenger of Yahuwah in the category of being a seer. And He says, in this hour with Shah. So He was confirming to me, and to maybe many of you, that He's going to be confirming the prophetic gift. And if it's not prophetic, it's going to be a certain supernatural gift that you are going to have. Okay? And He's going to call it out by name. And He's going to deliver not just you, but the ones that you have been praying for, the ones that you have been worried about, he's going to deliver them too. And it is all in the works. And so there was a verse that came up with regarding all of this, and it had something to do with I'll put it in the description, with telling me, confirming again to me that this, originally the word meant shovel. Okay, and I was like, what? But digging deeper into the context, into the commentary of that verse, it was talking about the utensils that the ministers of the high priest, the Levites, would use to clean the sacrifice. Those were also sacred equipment, sacred gadgets, utensils, and they were also delicately taken care of. They would put some hide on it. They would put a royal purple garment over it, and only the ones who have the grace and honor, and it's something along the lines of a bloodline, hereditary, to be a Levite. Not everybody is a specific Kohenite Levite. Okay? And throughout this journey of my supernatural diaries, I had these unctions and these prophetic words given to me that our family may be carrying that bloodline of the Kohenites, who are the high priests family in the tribe, who are the only ones that were able to do the sacrifice, and they were the ones that they were the ministers. They were the ones singing, and he has already confirmed that my children and my extra tribe are part of the Levites. And so it was very heartwarming to receive this vital information, clues, solving these mysteries of who my family, the lineage is, and why it is so important that he saves. It was talking about an elite group who have a specific level of grace that Yahuwah extends to them, because they are the ones that have to be always purified, because they're the ones that were putting the sacrifice on the altar, and they took very good care of how they poured the oil on the sacrifice for Yahuwah, and then how they even dealt with the ashes. So all the tools, the utensils, the shovels had to do with the ashes afterwards. And they would have to be the ones, nobody else, only a certain tribe, okay, that would clear up and then move the utensils to another location that was still sacred, very carefully placed so it does not rust and nobody else touches, because you have to be able to be sanctified within. It's like a higher level sanctification that a certain tribe has to have more than other people. It's not even talking about favoritism or anything like that. It's not even talking about, oh, Yahoo only hears their first. No. You know, it was like talking about the tribe of Aaron, his descendants. So his sons were the ones that were, Aaron was the brother of Moses. So if you need a little backstory, and he was the one cleansing the ashes, providing the sacrifice for forgiveness of sins. Okay, and they were also the Levites who would sing the songs and play certain instruments that would be gratifying to Yahuwah, and it would be the ultimate level of purification and sanctification. And thank Yahuwah that he created that system, okay, back in the day, because Yahusha did not, come on earth just yet to die for their sins. So they had to think of another method in order to do that. But even so, there's some kind of importance to that tribe. He's still bringing it up for today. His history is repeating itself all over again, and he's still bringing it up today that there's tribes within the world. Okay, there's an Issachar tribe, there's a Dan tribe, okay, and then and so it's etc., etc. It goes on, and so there's certain people that are walking on this earth, and there's Deborah, and there's an Esther there, and there's a Ezekiel there, there's a Joshua. They're on the rise, but there's also a Levites group that is on the rise, and these are the young lions. These are the silver flames. These are the ones that are going to lift aroma and incense to Yahuwah with praise and honor, and who are going to assist with deliverance and saving souls for Yahuwah. And because of that wonderful, harmonious, sanctified honor of music, and it's the praise and the worship is now considered the sacrifice, the sin sacrifice, the drink sacrifice, the flower sacrifice, so things like that. It's considered in that sense now. And then we are in the holy temple. We are the holy temples. And we think of the church as that's the holy temple, but it's actually also the person within. Okay? More so. And so it gave me relief to see that he sees these extra tribe like diamonds, because I saw them as very important individuals, very loved. But what made it more is that you can love someone very much, but guess who loves them more? Yahuwah did not forget, and he loves them more, your loved ones, and caring for them more than you love them. He topped what your love is, and he showed, yes, I see what you see, and I'm going to show you how I see them. I'm going to show you that I see them like diamonds and sapphires. Shalom.